Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of The Lowdown. You're here with the Levels of Wrestling, and tonight we have got one hell of a lineup for you guys. We are going to discuss a little bit about the Seth Rollins Wang incident. We've got the Raw Fallout. We're going to talk about Seth Rollins Wang. Then we're going to go into our You Can't IWC Me segment. A little bit more of Seth Rollins Wang. The Fastlane build. Seth Rollins Wang, PopNHeat. Seth Rollins Wang, like, it was a big Wang, you could tell. And the Weekly Wasim. Oh, and by the way, we may discuss Seth Rollins at some point. I'm fairly sure we're going to brush over it, though, much like WWE have with Seth Rollins Wang. But let's get straight into it, guys. Tonight, I'm here with with Paul, as per usual, and, of course, Chris. How we doing, guys?
Oh, I'm better than Seth Rollins right now.
Yeah, Paul's about to say better than Seth Rollins.
So we may as well address the mouse in the room.
The 5-inch elephant in the corner. Okay.
No, 6. Give him credit.
I think it's fair to say that we all saw the small issue that WWE now have, in that one of their up-and-coming main event stars has been
up-and-coming. Well done.
we'll say has been hacked, using the term loosely. But we've all now seen Seth Rollins Wang. We can't deny that. That shield was unprotected, my friend. How do WWE deal with such an incident to do with a Wang?
Oh boy. Well,
By the way, if Seth Rollins Wang is not trending by the end of this, I'm very upset.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real upset with you folks. Yeah, I mean, this could go one of two ways. I mean, you know, it's a boys' club there at WWE, so Vince could just say, "Well, you know, your tiny dick being out there is punishment enough." Meh. You know,
that wouldn't surprise me. That sounds like Vince.
I just like to come out and had someone telling me that it was huge.
Oh yeah, I saw that a few times. Oh my god, it's really big. Whoever that person is, they can come this way. That's fine.
Whoever that person is, that is the first cock they've ever seen. So
that's the person you want to be friends with. It's fine.
Yeah. Please follow me, whoever you are. That's at Y2Stump. The rumor though is that he's gonna like lose when he cashes in and all that good shit. I mean, that they have till July for the Money in the briefcase. This will blow over by then. I mean, yeah, sure, you have him job, you know, whatever. You have him eat some shit for a while, and have him probably lose clean at Mania. There you go. There's your punishment. Carry on from there.
Well, so you think he should only be punished up till Mania?
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's losing at Mania. I mean, you know, that's never fun. I mean, that's almost as bad as having your dick out there for all to see.
I think at this point, they should honestly have him. There was a moment a couple of years ago with Triple H, I think it was Triple H and Goldberg. Goldberg grabbed Triple H and pulled his trousers, and he was left in literally nothing except his tighty whities. They need to have something like that happen, Seth Rollins, live on TV. Because it won't get any worse after that, and people will forget about it if they do it on TV.
I'd love them to make jokes about it, like say if Triple H going, talking about Seth Rollins losing and going, "Don't worry, Seth, we won't go hard on you."
It's only a little problem. It's no big deal. Oh man!
And what perfect timing too to come on the heels of Triple H being all high and mighty about China last week. Yuck! This is what you get, you douche.
See, my favorite thing about this is the fact that crowds will now, and I'm telling you, crowds, if you don't do it, I'm very disappointed.
WrestleMania crowd, there will be a "saw your dick" chant. I can guarantee it.
Instead of "you sold out," needs to be "saw your dick." Kurt Angle got famous off that shit. Why can't Seth Rollins become the next Val Venus?
Too bad he didn't have Cena's theme song, because I could really hear the crowd just chanting along, "We saw your dick. We saw your dick."
And I mean, it's unfortunate. I mean, if this had happened to someone like, as I said earlier, if this had happened to someone like Ryder, maybe even someone like Adam Rose, even Cesaro, they'd have been gone. I mean, they would be let go.
I think for someone like Zack Ryder or Adam Rose, this would be turned into like a storyline.
Oh, that would give them something interesting to do, though.
Yeah, I mean, we'd have Naked Midian all over again, where we would just have Zack Ryder running through the crowd with just a fanny pack on.
No, that is a disturbing image, Paul. Why you do this?
Yeah, that's what I do.
That's what I do. Speaking of which, where's he been?
He's waiting.
He's waiting.
He so needs to team up with Rollins now so they can be called sexual. Something like that. They need to be the sexual duo. They need to capitalise on this now.
I would honestly love a Val Venus interaction, or even just have him run into Ron Simmons. Just a damn moment.
I'd even love it if they had like Val Venus go, he was only half a man. I'd love to see him come out now and go something along the lines of, at least I'm still bigger than you.
I would love if whatever feud he's going into with this, whatever feud he's going to go into next, it needs to be referenced in there somehow.
Oh, I'm sure it will. I mean, you're just going to hear, like his next match, I'm sure that someone's going to hit him off with a small package, and you're just going to hear Cole and JBL giggle. And it's going to be so stupid.
Oh my god, see if Seth Rollins loses his next match to a small package. That's it. They need to make Seth Rollins lose to a small package.
Yep.
Oh, the beauty. All about that innuendo.
Absolutely.
So, tell you what, guys, let's move on a little bit from Seth Rollins Wang. We'll come back to it, no doubt, because everyone does. The Raw from this... On you go, Chris. What were you going to say?
I wasn't saying anything.
It sounded like you were going to. Let's talk a little bit about Raw from this week. How do we find it? What segments did you like and what didn't you like, guys?
Go ahead, Chris.
I read it because I looked at the idea of it and I went, why would I watch this? Why? What would be the point of watching this? Like, there's... What? This isn't what I subscribe to a network to see. Like, what?
You're right, you didn't sign up to the network for that because Raw's not on the network.
The only reason I signed up was for NXT.
Yeah. Which we'll get onto later.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Raw was absolutely atrocious. The only thing that made it good was this whole scandal. And Twitter was just the most fun fucking thing ever on Monday. I mean, it was 3 hours of dick jokes. I was in heaven. It was seriously one of the best nights ever.
First.
Yeah,
I was in heaven. I was in a sea of dicks.
I have to admit, the viewership dropped from 4.3 million, which is their normal, to 3.6. I'm starting to believe half of that was just because everyone was on Twitter instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, and plus, you know what? This is not how you do a Road to WrestleMania show. I mean, it just felt like such a throwaway show, and it was terrible. I mean, come on, we had how many segments with Kane and Big Show? We had to suffer through 2 of their fucking matches.
And that's not even discussed the SmackDown.
Yeah, we'll get to that too.
Jesus Christ, they have no idea what they're doing anymore.
Bye.
It is so puzzling because at times it almost feels like they're doing this on purpose, where they're tanking so that way whenever like a halfway decent show happens, we think it's great.
Yeah, I said this last year, and I believe it was Rensis told me I was an idiot because I said they would do this on purpose.
Yeah, I remember one of us saying it. Yeah, it probably was you.
I just said off the cuff, like, maybe they make shows bad in order to make other ones look good. And Renz just came out with this, nah, man, no.
Holy shit, is that Renz's? Was that the ghost
No,
of
I mean,
Renz's
no, he's not my prisoner, shut up. He's a prisoner, man.
But, it comes to something when on the road to Mania they have to make a show look bad, if that's the case. Like, what does that tell you about Mania?
Well, Mania is going to be absolutely amazing as per usual. But
Mania is going to be Mania. I mean, you got to
we
figure that it's going to deliver with either the matches or the moments at least.
if we still get Reigns versus Lesnar, I'm still adamant that would turn into Goldberg versus Lesnar version 2. It will be a
Nah,
lazy ass match.
no,
It'll be a
because
slow pause.
Reigns wants to be there.
That's true enough, but I suppose at least Lesnar does his part for the business, as we saw at the Triple Threat.
Well, I'll tell you what bothered me about Raw this week was the crowd reaction. It was really unusual, and a lot of people on Twitter failed to believe that it happened, but it did. There was a 60-40 chant with Daniel Bryan and Reigns, and it was all going well until Daniel Bryan said, "I'm the better wrestler." And at that point, the audience kind of went, you are, but you don't need to say it, so boo to you.
Yeah, I don't like the character progression for either one of those guys this week.
Yeah, this week it seems like they're making them both seem big-headed, and I'm like, well, that's neither of the characters.
Bingo.
That's not what a face is in general. Like, what?
Yep, that is definitely not how Daniel Bryan should ever be portrayed. He should never be the kind of smart ass, oh, well, I'm better than you type of guy. That's not him. He's the underdog.
Well, unless they're going to heel turn him, but hey.
But at the end of the show, I mean, you had Roman, knock him out. So, I
And
mean,
the crowd cheered.
Yeah.
Some of the crowd cheered quite heavily.
They half cheered and half just didn't react.
Yeah. There was a moment when Bryan kicked Reigns, the smarks in the crowd were all like, "Oh my god, yeah, he deserved that." And then the rest of the audience that kind of like Reigns kind of went, "Well, hold on. That's not cool." There was a moment of silence, and then when Reigns hit him back, there was boos from the smarks again.
Yeah, it's like it's Cena Part 2. I mean, you know what you're going to get with him at this point. So, I mean, do you really need to turn him? No. You know what you're going to get. Just make him look good. Make us smart fans want to get behind him, or at least watch him wrestle. Figure something out. Pick a path with him.
It's working for me. I mean, I'm quite happy to watch a Reigns match currently.
I'm quite happy to not watch Raw right now.
No, you'd rather be on Twitter looking at dick pics. That's what I thought.
I legit didn't find out about that till the morning after because I was like, screw watching Raw, I'll go to bed. And I woke up and everyone was kicking off over it on the dirt sheets, and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, see, he woke up. What he really means is he woke up for his morning, hey, and he came across Seth Rollins' dick pics, and then had his morning,
No,
Seth Rollins Wang. Get it
I
trending.
legit read all of the Wrestling Inc. stuff on the bus into uni,
Oh God.
and I was just
You were checking out dick pics on the way to school? Ugh. On the bus, you degenerate.
Hey, to each their own. Do you know what? Coming out of Raw, there is one segment that I just want to kind of say that we told you this was going to happen. Dusty Rhodes has been announced for next week's Raw because a certain pair of brothers can't get on.
because Cody is dead, just like we predicted.
Who? Sorry, who's Cody? I don't remember Cody.
Oh, the rest of the people like what he got given a really bad gimmick instead.
I would really like over the next few weeks from people for Cody's past to show up.
Cody
Ted DiBiase.
Yeah, like who? Hardcore Holly and Ted Jr. and
Yeah, let's have Hardcore. Hardcore's great.
You can even have Orton turn up.
Oh God, no, he stays home. Because you know why? Because creative have nothing for him. He's not even penciled in for Mania at this point.
Really?
Yeah, apparently.
I was penciled in for Rollins.
No, apparently plans changed when the whole Reigns Lesnar Bryan idea happened.
Huh. I must have missed that. Fill us in. Give us the scoop.
Apparently, when Bryan was put into this idea of a triple threat, there was talk of having the triple threat at Mania, and Rollins would either go on and face Orton, or he'd not have a partner, so to say. Over the next coming weeks, there are 8-man tags with the idea of Orton versus Rollins in those 8-man tags. But the idea was also popped up on quite a few sites that Bryan would be cost his match due to Orton. So instead of having Bryan Ziggler or Bryan in the main event, we'd get a straight-up wrestling match for Seth Bryan. Now, that, of course, leaves Orton on the shelf still with nothing to do, other than the the big Andre the Giant memorial fuck-up that happens.
My fallback for everything where nobody has anything to do.
Yeah.
The issue I've got with this is they don't know what they're doing with anyone. And
Yeah.
I don't mean this in the sense that, oh, we're going to wait and see what crowd reactions. I mean, it's legitimately a case of, how do we even use this person? And that should never be happening.
Agree.
There's no long-term booking, or at least none that they're sticking to. I mean, it's not even week to week; it's day to day at this point, and you can't do that. I mean, when they were most successful, that they had plans, and they stuck to them. You can't listen to the fans. You cannot give your fans that type of power. Okay, especially a lot of folks like us who, well, not us because we're not those people, but the majority of the fans that are sitting there with the canceled WWE network and shit like that, they're a bunch of emotional degenerates that have ADD. I mean, they want something this week. It's not the same thing they're going to want next week, and you can't listen to that section.
Nope, next week we expect to see Velvet Sky's ass, not Seth Rollins' dick pics.
Oh, don't worry, but her pics have already been leaked.
Shush. We need to see them again.
Oh, I'll send you a link.
That wouldn't surprise me if you got those, Paul.
They're out there. It'll take me 2 seconds.
No, I'm okay. I'm not. No.
Okay.
Not on the show. What's
No,
that,
okay.
Rensis? Man, you need to give him the link. No, shut up, Rensis. You don't need that. We don't need that.
I getcha.
Guys, what do you think to the... I know it sounds really silly. I don't know why I'm even asking, but the Divas' current position going into Fastlane. It seems like... I don't want to say it, but they kind of seem more almost impressively booked at this point. Because there's so few of them, and they can just go round and round and round until they've got the right combination.
Honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that I watched Mania live with a friend, I probably wouldn't watch it live. I don't think it's worth it this year.
I think it's tough to say. It's not been built up great, I will say that. It has been a shoddy build-up.
This is the worst road to WrestleMania. I think this is the worst road to WrestleMania that's happened over the past few years.
It's up there. It's up there for sure. I mean, they're trying to recreate what was organic last year, and it's really a slap in the face of a lot of the fans. Because we know that this isn't genuine and this isn't organic. What happened last year was special. That's something that you can't recreate with a team of writers. Can't happen. And they're putting way too much focus on their few little main event stories that there's nothing left for anyone else.
The argument I've got here is, and I've always said this, everything should be built the way that a main event is built. You have the in-ring stuff, you have the promos, you have the video packages. You give time to everyone. It feels like a good hour and a half of last night's Raw was dedicated straight to Bryan and Reigns, which should never happen.
No, and you're completely right, Chris. There should be times where it's devoted main event style stories to everyone, and that's what Russo used to try to do. The issue with Russo is that he didn't have a filter, basically.
Yeah,
and when he did, it was great.
Yeah, when he had Vince to say no to him, when Vince would say no, when he had that person to filter out some of his ideas, it was perfect. And that's what made the Attitude Era so good, was that everybody had something.
Yep, even down to the one that I always look back at, Survivor Series 99. As silly as it sounds, if you look at the stories for that, even the Survivor Series matches, you've got things like the Hardy Boys and Edge and Christian, who at the time were building respect for each other, versus Hardcore Holly and Too Cool. Even during that match, though, you had Hardcore Holly and Crash Holly arguing constantly. Little things like that, just building to feuds and building up stories. They miss that on so many levels. It's such a shame because that's all it would take to make the product interesting again.
It's like when I was watching, like I say, last week, one of the days I was watching a lot of the old documentaries, and I was watching Edge's documentary, and even Cena said, you know, Edge is one of those guys who saw all of the moving parts, and you could see what was beneath. In it, you know, most people look at it in 2D. He was looking at it in 3D. That's how people need to be. Even the creative staff have to look at things from every perspective, and not just in a oh, well, this will work. Because half the time it doesn't.
Right now, nothing's working. I mean, you know, it feels like the schedule, even the pay-per-view schedule, the TV shows are just an outline. They have this little outline that they go with every week, and they go, okay, we already know that right here at the beginning of Raw is 20-minute promo. We know that at the hour spots is going to be this, this, and this. I mean, you know, a little bit of creativity.
I would actually love the Raw after WrestleMania if the crowd booed the opening and just started chanting "Start the tag match."
Wow.
I think people would realise just how see-through the show is.
That's fucking funny. It's good.
Tell you what interested me, I know we haven't really covered it from this week's Raw, but Rusev Cena. I've got a funny feeling this isn't going to lead to no match happening at Fastlane. I think they're going to call it off. They're going to make it seem like Rusev injured Cena's eye so badly that he can't wrestle at Fastlane.
I hope not. I mean, when you're this close to Mania, you really can't be pulling bait and switches. Like
No. I think they're going to make it personal by doing this, and then that makes the Mania match bigger.
No. All they will do exactly what they did with Bryan, and they will tarnish Rusev's win, and I'll go, oh, Cena's eye every 5 goddamn minutes.
Well, you have Russo, you do the match, and then you just have Rusev, you know, just beat the piss out of his eye, and you get like basically like a no contest or a referee stoppage, something like that. Yeah, that'll definitely build up some sympathy for Cena.
I agree with what you first said. Give us Rusev.
Yep, give us Rusev. In fact, let's get that trendy along with Seth Rollins Wang.
Hashtag give us Rusev.
No, I'm good. Give us Heyman. We'll take Heyman.
I'll also be good with Heyman. In fact, give us both. That'd be interesting.
Oh, no, they'd kill each other.
Exactly.
I can understand why Heyman doesn't want to be on creative anymore.
Well, because Vince is still the man. So it doesn't matter if you're the best idea in the world. If old man Vince doesn't like it, it's not worth a shit.
Yeah, and Heyman's one of those guys who knows what's best for business, and Vince thinks he knows what's best for business, and...
Yep.
Okay. Hey, Krista, welcome to the show tonight.
Hi.
Before we move on, did you enjoy Seth Rollins Wang?
You know, I didn't see the pictures, and I'm kind of glad I didn't.
Oh, you're not missing out on anything. In fact, you really couldn't see much.
Give me 5 inches, and I'll tweet it to you.
Did you say 5 minutes or 5 inches? I think you said 5 minutes.
Oh, sorry. Whoops.
No problem.
I don't think I want to see his hog, thanks.
Oh, you obviously want to see his hog.
It wasn't a hog, it was a piglet. Come on.
Let's move on swiftly to one of my favorite segments that we do is the You Can IWC Me. This week I want to talk about in the same thing that you mentioned, Paul. The WWE have given up. They give over to the fans now. If we as fans want the product to be better, we need to let the product be the product. Sometimes there will be guys that are lower in the card than we want them to be. That's the pecking order. That was one of the first things I ever blogged about for you guys. And I'm not saying I'm right, but that's a thing that happens, is the pecking order. And I think we can all agree that sometimes guys won't be at the top of the card. Guys will be put in shit storylines, but they'll still have something. if you really care about the product, and not just one guy, the product, you would watch the whole thing and just let it unravel. I'm not saying it's going to be great. Sometimes it won't be. That's just how it goes.
I agree and disagree. I mean, I personally was against the Reigns Lesnar thing because, and this isn't because I want Daniel Bryan, it was just because, in my opinion, Reigns, was not ready for it, and still is not ready for it. And even now, when I very briefly flicked through Raw for like 5 minutes, I saw you had Bryan on one side, who you could believe the character, and on the other side you had Roman Reigns, who didn't seem to even believe words that were coming out of his mouth.
I personally think it'd be very difficult to believe the words that are coming out of my mouth if they've been wrote by 65-year-old coots, but that's a different story.
Bryan manages.
Bryan says his own lines, and we all know that. I mean,
but his promo on Monday to start the show came off so pretentious and heely. Ugh.
Oh, it was awful. It was a really bad promo as well.
You know what, though? For once, Roman wasn't the worst promo in the ring.
I reckon that's why they did it.
Yeah, probably.
It's quite possible, but it made Roman look better than Bryan. To be honest with you, I think the biggest issue that currently the IWC has is that they want things to be their way on a silver platter given to them by Vince. That's not the way things should go. It never should be.
Nope. Vince McMahon is a millionaire for a reason. He runs WWE for a reason. There's a reason he does and we don't.
He's also getting ready to retire for a reason.
Maybe. Who knows? I mean, I'll believe it when he steps down.
That'll happen within the next 3 years.
Who knows?
No, I think Vince is ready to go this year. I'm telling you, after Mania. That's it. SummerSlam. I'll say SummerSlam he goes.
I wouldn't be upset by it. I'll say that.
It's about time.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be upset.
I wouldn't, because I see what Triple H is like with NXT in a way that he wanted to be its own brand.
Yep.
So I'm not sure what I would, because everyone seems to think, oh, Triple H will get in charge, everything will change, everything will be like NXT. No, NXT is its own brand for a reason, guys.
Oh no, I don't want it to be like NXT. I just want a better product.
No, that's understandable, because at least Triple H has been in the ring. He knows both sides of the, he knows both sides of the curtain pretty well.
Yeah, as you just said it a minute ago, Chris, he looks at things in a 3D option.
Yeah.
Well, and plus NXT is just basically two people doing the show, writing the show. So when you have that and you only have an hour show, of course it's going to be a little bit better. But I also think that once Triple H gets the reins passed to him, he's going to surround himself with the right people.
He'll also probably try and drop it back down to 2 hours, which will be a lot more.
He can't.
Long time away.
He can't. That's USA Network that does it. That has nothing to do with WWE.
No, I mean, the next time the contract comes up, he will drop that down.
Oh yeah, that's 5 years from now, though.
Yeah. So yeah, this isn't going away anytime soon. And if USA says, hey, you know what, we're gonna give you X amount of dollars, we still want 3 hours, they're gonna sign it.
Agreed. I think they'll also sit there and go, well, that's not working, and they'll go, why? And then USA will go, but we get ratings for this. This is what we want. Here's your money. Give us a 4th hour.
Triple H is smart enough to say no.
It's not up to him. I mean, there's at that point, it's shareholders.
Yeah, but you can very easily justify that to the shareholders, because you will put out a worse product if you're writing for 4 hours, which means the quality will drop and the viewership will likely drop, which means less revenue.
It's dicey. It's dicey. Hopefully by that point in time, the WWE Network will be creating its own amount of money that they won't need to go to USA.
I think that's probably quite likely.
I think that's like their overall plan in 5 years. That could be realistic. Who knows? I mean, it would also mean they would have to sell advertising on the network, which people would fucking blow their fucking tops about that, but
I'm
you know,
cool
whatever.
with it. Let's
Yeah,
do
I'm
it.
fine with that. Yeah, shit. You get a short little video between stuff.
Yeah.
Who cares?
We get it on YouTube.
Let's maybe
Yep,
make it
exactly.
relevant to the product, though. That's the only thing I would ask.
Yeah,
Like
it has to
maybe a certain
be.
type of protein or a type of clothing brand. That's fine.
No, it has to be Skittles, and I want to hear.
Oh, Slim Jims.
I
It's
want
got
to
to be
hear
Slim Jims and Chef
Slim
Boyardee with Mick
Jims.
Foley on a motorbike. Oh god, the adverts! I remember getting those on a VHS tape, watching the Royal Rumble 2000.
I lived
Mick
through those
Foley.
shits. They were great. Booker T with his he had a beefaroni one, I think, and it was great.
Oh, 5 times. He ate that 5 times, five
Yeah.
times, 5 times, 5 times beefaroni.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
Oh man. Well, I'll tell you what. We've mentioned NXT quite a bit, so let's talk about tonight's NXT Takeover Rivals. God, they need to name these better. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, because they're either takeover, a rival, or a combination thereof.
It's just takeover now. It's takeover followed by something else.
What's sad is they can come up with 12 pay-per-view names for the main roster, but they can only come up with 2 for the NXT roster.
I think it works better if you just have NXT and NXT takeover. I honestly think that just works fine.
It's still better than Fastlane.
Yeah.
Nah. But you see, this is Daniel Bryan's fast lane to the top.
Woo!
That's
Yeah,
what
because Daniel Bryan's the one who needs to get to the top.
he currently is, because he's held down by the big bad authority.
Oh, well, just...
It's the same stuff. Look, we're all bitching and moaning about it, but before we go into NXT, this is the exact same story as last year. The authority hold Daniel Bryan down. Daniel Bryan overcomes. WrestleMania moment!
But it doesn't work because last year you had a, 8-month payoff?
Yep.
And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm completely pissed off about the whole Fastlane main event anyway.
Yep. It's completely pointless and ruins a Royal Rumble. But we'll get on to that.
It's traditionally the Royal Rumble winner, the guy who kicks everybody else's ass, main events, Mania.
But even then, even if they had, and this is where to me they should just fork out the cat and say, hey, Lesnar, I want you to appear. They should have just had a elimination chamber.
Yep.
Because who the f gives a damn about Fastlane? It's got a good card, don't get me wrong, but there's actually no point to the pay-per-view.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is actually one time where the Elimination Chamber would have been good.
Would have been awesome.
Yeah, it would have been good this year to to do something if they want to have such controversy where there was none about the Rumble. I mean, the only controversy was created by dipshit fans going boo-hoo, our guy didn't win.
Well, screw it. What you can do is you can have an elimination chamber for the IC title, because Lord knows that'd be cool to see. Lord knows they need to do something with that title.
Yeah.
They are. They're making the Bad News Barrett look like a man.
Great. That's how enthusiastic I am about that. And for, they could cause controversy by having stuff like double pin in the elimination chamber for stuff if they wanted to do one for the World Heavyweight title.
It's a possibility. It is a complete possibility, but again, creative WWE, Vince, IC title below WWE title, it's storyline, blah 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 blah.
But that's exactly where they're
because the IC was like a main event match at some WrestleMania.
Yep.
It's a big deal.
The thing that people seem to often ignore is that, having the WWE World Heavyweight title appear once every 3 months has worked out well because it carries some prestige to the title, because when the champion turns up and has a match, it's a big deal. The best way they can do this going forward is to have each month rotate, so you have USA, IC, WWE, USA, IC, WWE.
Nah, that takes effort. They won't do it. Sadly, they should do that, but they won't.
They should do it, but they won't.
They should have the WWE Championship defended or whatever at the Big Four, and then the other 2 titles can fill in the rest of the pay-per-view.
I like them defended every 30 days. That's what I grew up on. It was good enough for Jack Tunney. It's good enough for me.
Good old
But speaking,
wrinkles.
I know, but then you end up seeing the same guys face off every fucking pay-per-view. Excuse my language, and it gets
whoa.
stale.
No, you're not excused. You terrible.
Oh, jeez. I apologize to all the moms out there for Crystal's language.
Oh, fuck off.
It was merely feedback from my mother.
Hi,
All
Mom.
because of the poor guy
Hi.
from Rambling Wrestling, and he just, he went on that rant. Bless his heart. And that's the part she caught.
Oh,
Hi,
okay.
Crystal,
That's fine. I thought it was one of us that was in trouble. That's okay. Hey, Chris's mom.
We're sorry we have potty mouths.
I'll
But
chew my bar of
speaking-
soap before bed.
But speaking of titles, though, we got a question from Twitter from Good Guy Steve.
Whoop, whoop.
He wants to know what we think about champions losing non-title matches.
No.
It's good, but it means that the person that then beats them is booked stronger than them. So they need to be then put in championship material categories, almost.
Well, this was the issue I had back when you had the IC title with Barrett and stuff. You'd have him losing, you'd have him losing non-title matches, and I sat there like, oh, this guy's meant to be champion, so what?
It depends on how dominant you want your champion to look, I guess.
The champion should always look like a champion.
I would agree he looks like a champion, but if you want him to look like a strong champion, he needs to beat everyone. If you want it to look like he's maybe in with a chance of losing, you have his competition beat him once, maybe twice. If you want it to look like he's on a really bad losing streak, but is somehow fluking his way through pay-per-view matches, you have him lose constantly and then win in a really cheap, bad heel manner.
Well, the fact that he lost to Sin Cara at one point, that's pretty...
Yeah, that's bad. That, to me, puts Sin Cara above the IC title. So
Like, I
he should
could-
be in contendership for that now.
I could see him moving to Ambrose, because Ambrose is a contender. So it's like, oh my gosh, Ambrose could actually win it. Or for him to, eat it to Sin Cara, that pretty much pisses all over the Bad News Barrett gimmick and the title.
Well, it seems like for the past, I would say 4 or 5 months, that as soon as you get one of those lower card titles, all you do is lose on TV. That's it. You constantly lose on TV, which just completely negates the point of being a champion, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I personally don't get the thought pattern in having your champions lose on TV clean. And usually it's clean, too, which is even worse.
Well, and that's the thing is, I mean, you look in, spoiler alert, folks, if you haven't watched SmackDown, having Reigns and Bryan defeat the Usos, who are the tag team champions.
Yeah, but that's the difference. That's where they put championships below championships, so to say. That's like saying that 2 main event guys are better than a tag team, which is wrong. The tag team should have pinned them because they work as a cohesive unit.
And they're brothers.
And they're brothers, yeah. Identical brothers.
Right down to their tattoos.
Right,
But,
yeah, right down to their tattoos.
But I absolutely hate the fact that they can't book sensibly. Like all they care about now is the main event, and everything else is like, oh, it falls where it falls.
I feel that, in keeping to the question, that this idea that the IC and the US Championship are booked badly is because straight up WWE don't have enough good mid-carders. It's not because they can't do anything with them. It's because they don't have enough good talent that could be there holding that spot. So they're trying to build talent by making good talent lose, but then they're losing track of what they're doing. So therefore, it makes the championship look bad.
To quote Triple H, you have to give them the ball and let them bounce it higher.
Yep.
You can't just say, oh, well, we're going to ask you to, run the whole field and score a touchdown, but we're not going to give you the ball to do so. It's like, well, hold on, what's the point?
And I think a lot of like the ICW need to accept that sometimes their guy is not main event main event level. Yes, I'm looking at you, Ziggler fans.
Ziggler is, but only if he's used in a certain way.
Coming out of Survivor Series, he should have been.
Yeah, Survivor Series, he was. It looked like they pushed him to the main event right there and then, and I was like, well, there we go, that's good. And then all of this crap happened. It's like, oh well, that didn't really work out so well.
Yeah, it went absolutely nowhere, fucking nowhere.
Yeah. So now he's just like he's an upper mid card guy.
Yeah.
Yep, which is a good spot for him.
Yeah.
But then why give him super push there at Survivor Series? I mean, it's to the grand overall plan of they just don't see beyond this week. There's no long-term booking, and they're suffering for it. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to go out of business. That's probably never going to happen, at least not in our lifetimes. But they're going to lose fans. They're going to lose ratings like they did this week. I mean, get it together. I mean, I hate that I have to come on here and be negative most weeks. It sucks because I love wrestling, and I just want to have fun.
The best way I can put it is they're looking at the window and they're not looking through it.
Yep.
They're not seeing what's underneath. They're not seeing, okay, this is good. We can tie this into it. They're just going, no, done. It's like, well, thanks, but... Ooh. And it comes down to stuff that they think the fans won't remember, and this ties into something else I want to discuss from SmackDown, which is the Big Show.
Sorry.
Because this was an argument for the people that aren't in our Facebook chat. I had an argument with Craig about this the other day. Turning people and turning them back too soon. Big Show turned at Survivor Series. We are, 4 months down the line and they've turned him back. How are they expecting us not to remember that he's randomly turned into a bad guy and now he's randomly turning back into a good guy and we're supposed to give a shit?
I'm going to counteract this very quickly. I said this to Paul before we started. All the reports that have came out have merely stated Big Show hit Kane. They don't say how or in what manner. They don't say the situation. Now, we all saw Daniel Bryan run and knee Roman Reigns this week on Raw. Or we did if we watched it. We then saw the incident occur where it was like, oh no, my God, what an accident. How did that happen? We don't know. The same idea could be happening with the Big Show and Kane, for all we know. However, that being said, if this is a face turn, dear God, WWE, listen to Chris. Listen to the IWC. This is the one time I'm asking you to. Stop turning people so damn quick.
If you turn somebody, be prepared to commit them to that role for at least 12 months. I don't give a damn if their contract's going to expire. I don't give a damn if it's inconvenient because someone gets injured. I don't give a damn if you don't think it's a good idea. You should have thought it out before you frickin' turn them.
However...
You with The Miz and he flip-flops back and forth and back and forth. It's like, what the hell?
Well, The Miz has been heel for a while now. Quite a while now. Almost a full year, actually.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, though, Krista. Yeah. Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about. But yeah, we got to let this play out, because, I mean, I'm telling you, if this comes out to be where Big Show was just part of the Authority, is infiltrating them and trying to get to their master plan the entire time, they already did that in WCW with Brutus the Barber Beefcake, where he infiltrated the Dungeon of Doom on behalf of Hogan. So
there's only one way I can be happy with this ending, and that's Big Show versus Kane in a double retirement match.
I'll go with single retirement, because then one of them gets retired by an up-and-comer at SummerSlam.
I'll go with that.
I hope it's Kane.
I said Kane, because that leaves
Oh,
someone with Big Show at SummerSlam, and that's it.
I hope it's Big Show, because Kane can actually have an interesting story.
yeah, but he can't have an interesting match. I mean, at least Big Show can still. He's still.
Do you guys remember when they had Big Show be Sho Rikishi?
Oh, Shokichi.
Yeah, see, they can pull that out.
But they won't. I would rather see Kane. Saying that, I would rather see Kane. Now that I think about it, Chris, you're correct. I would rather see Kane. Dear God.
I would much rather.
He still do the comedy bits, and he's hysterical.
But so can Kane. Look at Team Hell No.
No, he can't. Get out of here.
Forget Team Hell No. Forget the stuff with Ryback at the when he was Concessions Kane.
No, that was bad.
Even though I hated the Concessions Kane idea, the stuff he did with Ryback, I was like, okay, that's you know.
Oh God, you people have been drinking Aaron's Kool-Aid. You guys are fucking crazy.
Kane does really a straight man. Let's just like if you have him on the comedy duo, he makes a very good straight man.
The Big Show struggles to walk to the arena, to get in the arena, to wrestle, to talk, to act. At least Kane can do some of those things.
Alright, I'll defend my big old dad and say that Big Show can act. He's actually not awful.
Nope.
The man can cry on demand. We've seen that. Yep. That's impressive.
Too many times.
Yeah, but we've seen it. I will say that Kane can act, but I want his final run to be in the mask. That's the only reason that I would like to see Kane really between now and SummerSlam.
I agree with that.
He didn't have the partially shaved head. Remember when he was unmasked and he just had like that
tuft hair?
Tuft hair. Like no. I wouldn't mind seeing the original mask.
I'd love to see the original mask and the original outfit come back for just one run.
Just because the current mask seriously looks like a fruit roll up stuck to his head.
Oh, Aaron's gonna be so sad because you said that again.
He's not here.
He'll hear it. He'll hear the show. He'll be so angry.
Well, sorry.
Speaking of Kane, though, Mind of Carnage, our good friend and fellow family member here, he wants to know what did we think about the KV Vic comment.
Oh, I was in stitches. I thought it was funny. Kane's reaction was less than Triple H's, which I thought was much funnier. Because everyone was like, hey, that wasn't Kane. We obviously all know it wasn't Kane. But Triple H still did something with a dead corpse in a funeral home in a coffin, didn't he? Oh no. That's what made it funny, the fact that no one cared.
It would have been nice if they would have done that in front of like a smarter crowd. Like if you do that in Philly or Chicago or Canada, they're totally gonna fucking get it, and they're gonna have a great chuckle about it.
After what came out on Instagram yesterday, they should be glad they weren't in Philly or Chicago or somewhere like that. Because Lord knows that would have blown up in their face.
I think the Katie Vick comments aren't as bad as they could be. Obviously, there have been worse storylines. It's not like someone mentioned Benoit on live TV, thank God. I think Casey Vick has become almost like, not a taboo topic, but it's becoming like that cult phenomenon that if it gets mentioned, we all sit there going, tee.
Yeah, it's the Shockmaster at this point.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Yep. Yeah, it's wrestle crap. That's all.
Tell you what, talking about before we got onto the questions from our lovely listeners tonight, we were talking about titles and championships. Tonight we've got the NXT Takeover Rivals, which was the topic we were on about championships, by the way. Who walks away with the title, Zayn or Owens, and who deserves it?
Owens walks away with it. Zayn, I feel best suits the underdog role, so Owens should definitely take it. They can play that into Owens' character a lot. Because of the way that he's acting at the moment, he's only interested in the title. I think that worked quite well with him. They can also talk that into he finally got back at Zayn for the stuff in Ring of Honor.
They won't mention Ring of Honor, surely.
They will. Triple H has basically said that they don't want to ignore the past, but they don't want to only go back to it.
Well, they'll say, well, these two have wrestled all over the world. They'll say something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not going to specifically say Ring of Honor. I don't think. I think that Owens does not win tonight. I think Zayn keeps the belt. He's only had the belt for a couple months now. I think that they want to kind of establish him. and truth be told, Owens doesn't need that belt right now to be over. I think Zayn kind of does.
Well, to be honest, the only reason I actually said to give it to Owens is because somebody drops it and then moves up to the main roster. So,
No, you don't want him on the main roster yet. You don't want to have this be a one-and-done feud.
Nope. You want this to be a long feud, or at least until the next special show after this. And then once that happens, you bring one of them up to the roster.
And I think that all of us are big enough fans of that all of us are big enough fans of NXT that we don't want these guys to go up to the main roster and just be buried and have nothing to do. You have to establish some guys down there in NXT, and I think that's a great place for Sami Zayn. I mean, if he never went up to the main roster, I would be happy as could be, because I would know that he'd be on there every week, killing it, having great matches, earning a paycheck, and the crowd would fucking love him. That's a good spot.
Yep.
Okay, so let me ask something then. We got asked again by Mind of Carnage. Do we think that Solomon Crowe arrives tonight?
He'd better.
If so, where does he do it then? That's my question.
If he debuts tonight, he does it in... I'd either say the main event, because it would get him the most attention. Or... I don't actually know other than the main event. That's the only one that really makes sense for drawing.
I could see him debuting in the main event, like you said, Chris, like at the end with whoever wins, and then he comes out.
But then that's still cutting short that feud, though.
No, what you can then do is you can throw him in like they did with Breeze, Neville, and Zayn.
Yeah, I was going to say you have him dropped in as the third person.
And then you can drop him back out easily like they did with Breeze.
He's not on that level, though.
Well,
No,
Solomon Crowe, he's pretty close, I won't lie.
He's not on that level.
okay, I would say drop him in with Neville and Balor, but the issue I've got with that is that if you drop him at that position on the card, I don't think, one, he'll get the coverage, and two, I don't think it would make as much sense for him to debut there.
I think if you want him to make an impact, he needs to come out during the main event, and I'll say let Sami win if Owens gets distracted by it. Then you can have the three of them interlinked, like you were saying, Chris.
Or even if they have, Owens is looking at Solomon Crowe and Zayn hits him with the haluva kick. GG. It's one.
Can we just begin to call that a hell of a kick?
Haluva kick, whatever.
They call it the haluva kick because it's PG. It's a hell of a kick, all one word.
You could also do it that have him maybe, if he's distracting Owen, kind of have him appear to align with Zayn.
No, because Solomon Crowe as a hacker would not make sense as a face.
He's not going to show us the hacker, I don't think. I think they've done it to throw people the same as they did it with the Funkasaurus.
I really hope that they do it with the hacker gimmick, purely because there's stuff they can do there.
Well, in that case, he doesn't even need to show up in the main event. He can just hack, put something on the Tron, and leave. He could do that for several shows, even before the next taping.
I was
He
going to
doesn't
say,
even need to show up until the next pay-per-view.
I was going to say, even if the end of the pay-per-view, whoever wins holding the title up, and you see the main screen, and the main screen is like flickering and everything, and Solomon Crowe comes up.
Yeah, you just get a message saying "you're mine," and that's it.
Solomon, I'm coming, or something like that, and then it's just
like Seth Rollins Wang.
Something along the lines of when they did Triple H issued that challenge to Sting and have them put the answer on, or like they do with the Wyatt family, where you're all of a sudden watching it and then it cuts to a promo. They could do something along the lines of that without actually having him be in the ring.
To me, it makes sense if you have Zayn win or something, but you have Owens win and say that they don't care who it is, they will always win, and then you have that happen.
Okay,
I'm thinking we're just getting a video, the same thing that we've been having.
Yep.
That's it.
Okay, guys. Krista, who do you think walks away with the title tonight? Owens or Zayn?
Zayn.
Paul?
Sami Zayn walks out with the belt. I don't know if he wins the match. I could easily see it being, disqualification or something, something nefarious. But
Okay.
yeah.
Chris, who wins?
Zayn.
I'm going to say Zayn wins, but he doesn't walk out. He's carried out.
There you go. I like that.
I think Zayn gets wrote off TV and misses the next lot of tapings because he's going on tour.
The other one they want to do soon is that, actually I'm going to say Owens, because they want to do, I can't remember if it was Neville or Balor versus Owens. They're looking to do that at some point, so I reckon Owens will win.
No, I'm thinking they'll still end up doing Owens Balor, but I think Zayn wins, and he takes the belt on tour with him over to Abu Dhabi. Saying that, number one contendership, who wins? Balor or Itami?
Balor. Oh, is it? Who was Neville against?
Oh, sorry, it's Neville, yeah. It's not Itami, because it's Itami Breeze, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sorry, Neville then or Balor?
Balor.
Balor, pretty easy.
If he goes through the... I'm actually looking forward to seeing if he comes out in the same paint tonight, or if he comes out with something different. Because he has a habit of coming out as different stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be something different tonight.
I think it'll be the same kind of thing, but a different color paint, if I'm honest.
He'll be the boogeyman this time. Oh, wait, no, here he was.
How he shows up as Rensus.
Oh.
Yeah, at this point, we almost.
He's in your basement.
Okay, guys. I said obviously... Yeah, Krista?
You're not going to even ask me?
Well, I thought you'd said something, but...
You just got to hop in there.
No.
Go ahead, Krista.
I'm going to go with Neville.
Ooh, why Neville?
Ooh.
Oh. I just,
Oh,
I
you
think-
just thought you'd be awkward, you hipster.
no.
See, I don't...
I think he'll win. Just because of his moveset and everything else. But I don't think it's going to be... I think it's going to be he's going to win by the skin of his teeth.
See, I
I don't
don't...
think he's going to bounce Baylor around the ring. I think it's going to be a very hard fought win.
See, I don't think Neville is going to win because they're expecting him to go up to the main roster next. And in order for that to happen, he can't win a number one contendership match, and he can't get the title.
Yeah, it's tough though.
There could also be, like, a disqualification or a double count out.
I would say it's going to be Balor who wins, but I would like to see it be Neville so long as he's going to win as a heel. He has to win his next run as a heel.
Yeah, that'll make it more interesting.
Like, none of this friends versus friends. Oh my god, we're the best of friends in NXT. No, I want to see a jealous Neville versus Zayn.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I would rather just see the continuation of Owens and Zayn, but...
Oh, of course, yeah. But I think there'll be time. I think that feud's going to be on and off their entire career in WWE.
Yeah, you can keep those two linked together forever.
I would honestly like to say that will grow up to be the next Michaels Triple H, but
What, sorry?
the Owens versus Zayn.
That will grow. That's one of those things, where they're doing the WWE rivalry stuff.
Yeah.
That will be one of those in a few years' time.
Yeah.
It's it's interesting.
Hopefully.
I would like to see it. Now, as I've got wrote down here, our next segment is more Seth Rollins Wang. Guys, straight up, honest question. First thing that comes to mind, big or small?
Small.
Medium.
Nah, Christian, we're given two choices, big or small.
Medium.
Yeah,
Oh.
Krista, big or small?
Well, if he's taking performance-enhancing drugs, it's probably teeny weeny.
You heard it here first on Lowdown. He's got a teeny weeny.
That was for you, Trina, who wanted us to rate the quality of Seth Rollins' pretty man meat.
Trina, his pretty man meat is teeny weeny. Itty bitty teeny weeny.
So we give it a 5. That's what we give it.
No, if it's teeny weeny, it gets a 2.
He was like stretching it out in the one picture, though. He
Guys,
was like talking out. He was trying to stretch
It's a
it out.
4 out of 10.
It just, yeah,
Ooh.
it looks closer to a 6.
Ah, get out of here.
Chris had his glasses on. That was.
Yeah, for some reason I could see Chris with a pair of glasses, not exactly on, just a couple inches away from his eyes, and then like a little ruler, and he's measuring.
But, if Chris says, 6, and I guess it is average.
Ouch. Okay, so moving on, guys. What is your pop and heat of this week? Chris, I'm gonna ask you first, so they stop laughing at you a little bit, man. Chris, what's your pop and heat, man?
My pop of the week is not watching Raw. My heat of the week is Raw.
Wow, a lot of raw. Krista.
Seriously, my actual pop would be to the Cody Rhodes is dead thing. Other than that, my heat is the rest of the show.
Huh. Okay. Krista, pop and heat. What'd you get?
My heat of the week is the way they had the opening and the end segments where, Reigns and Bryan are like in each other's faces all the time. That's just wasn't really feeling it. It felt forced. Like, we're gonna force you guys to team up, and then we're gonna show the cracks that could happen with your partnership. Like, yay, yabba dabba doo. Change the channel. Thank you very much. And do I have a pop of the week? Not really. No pop.
Straight up, no pop, no pops. Paul, I'm dreading asking you about pop and heat this week.
Me? My pop of the week goes to Twitter on Monday. There was a fantastic 3 hours of dick pics and cock jokes, and it was just fantastic. I just want to thank everybody that participated. It was a ton of fun. It made a below-average show so much more fun. Making fun of Seth Rollins was just a great way to spend 3 hours. So thank all of you. That was probably the most fun I've had watching Raw in a very long time. My heat of the week goes to Kane and Big Show. Just because I'm so fucking sick of seeing these guys. I really am. They've lost the mystique. They've lost so many times, and they've lost to everybody that getting a win over them doesn't mean anything at this point. So even trying to establish them back as monsters, it doesn't work. So we've had enough. I don't need to see these guys anymore. That's it.
I actually have a pop for the week.
Oh, go on.
It's the tweet that Mina Carnage just sent out.
Oh, God. You mean the
Didn't
Seth
cry,
Rollins?
stroked out.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to go with he cock stomped.
Yeah, I like cock stomped. That was good.
Yeah, but you also like fist cocking, so.
What? Who's talking about Roman Reigns?
No, I thought that was Cockgate.
That
You know
was,
what's ironic?
it was
that
Cockgate.
if
Cockgate
you look-
2015. It was fun.
if you look at the Shield, you've got one guy that likes fisting, one guy that likes puking his cock out, and the other one's all about the tits. They're like the best group ever. You may as well make Val Venus their manager and Sexual Chocolate their valet.
My God, why didn't these guys stay together? My
Because if they
God.
stayed together, that's a messy, messy orgy.
I don't care. Just needs to. That should have gone against 3MP.
Oh, God.
Team Gush right there. There it is.
Team Josh versus three-man gangbang.
Well, I'm sure there's plenty of women out there that would like to ride Roman Reigns or Dean Ambrose.
Wow. Yeah, I saw too many naked Dean Ambroses this week as well. Thanks, Paul.
Hey!
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you asshole.
It's Cock Week 2015. Enjoy it.
Cock Week. Do you know what? Tweet that out, everyone. Cock Week.
Yeah, there's dicks
Craig
everywhere.
sent me on Snapchat.
It's not that bad. It
Don't
could
worry,
be worse.
because yeah, you'll be happy you're not on Snatch Chat. So that'll be next week.
Oh God. Tell you what, my pop and heat for this week. Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna get back to topic. I'm gonna give my, yeah, I'm
We're
gonna
on
get.
topic.
Watch this as we get a dirty joke out of this one. My pop goes to I'm definitely gonna say it goes to Cody Rhodes is dead. I like that. It made me happy. It was something we predicted was gonna happen, so obviously that's gonna make me smile as well. My heat of the week goes to Daniel Bryan. He needs to learn when to not be a dick. On screen, it comes across as being a real heel. If you're not playing a heel, don't say heel things. Like, it's not like Hogan was a heel or Cena was a heel. Just don't be a dick heel. There's a difference.
It's also his delivery too. It's
Yeah.
just the way that he delivers his lines.
His lines always seem very like, oh, so that's what they wanted me to tell you. Now I remember. I'm going to patronize you.
Exactly. Yeah, nobody thinks I can win. I'm the greatest wrestler in the world. Blah.
I'm the little train who could. Yes, I am.
My name's Seth Rollins. My dick was hanging out. Yeah, Yeah, it's terrible.
I've seen far too many good hashtags today. Cock stomped, Rollins cocked moment. Seth Rollins Wang, hashtag bang that mouth. I mean,
Wow.
yeah, that's Trina. Trina's
I
going
know.
hello. Bang
She
that
has,
mouth.
I know. I told her that she cannot change that name. That's a fantastic.
You didn't say mustache ride.
What?
That's next week.
Mustache ride. Wow. Wow.
Sorry, I watched Super Troopers the other night.
Okay.
Have
I
you
love
seen
that movie.
Super Troopers?
I absolutely love that movie.
Oh, it's a great movie.
Guys, I'm gonna ask the favorite topic of this week that I know quite a few of our followers are actually craving this week. I've been tweeted about this several times in the last few hours, and it makes me really happy to appreciate that people are listening to my favorite segment, easily of the last few months, has been the one, the only, the Weekly Wasim. That was a whole remix by Mouth. I like that.
Yeah.
That's going to get bigger each week, by the way, unlike Seth Rollins Wang.
Mix it by mouth.
Honest to God, guys,
It's mouth mixing.
we have had so many people tweet us this week with stupid things, and I have personally one Wasim that I'd like to give out, if this is okay with you guys, to cancel the WWE Network.com. Krista, if your mum's listening, tell her to turn off. This guy, honest to fuck, if I ever meet you, run the other way. I cannot stress how much I dislike you. I cannot stress how much I wanted to pull your fingernails off, one at a time, and then dip your hands in vinegar, you awkward little shit. If you ever tell our people, our followers, our friends, that we are involved or affiliated with your network again, with your website, with your Twitter, with whatever the fuck you're running, that we actually deal with your product, I will ensure that you are banned from the internet for life. We do not appreciate that you put us on your website saying that we pay for your site to be ran. We do not appreciate that you tell your followers that we're affiliated with you and that if they have a problem, they should come to us. And you sure as hell do not tell me that our followers are idiots if they keep up with the WWE product. And when you claim to be the voice of reason in a chaotic landscape, you just sound like a pig. Deal with your shit and leave the world alone. You, sir, are my Weekly Wasim.
Weekly Wasim.
What, Weekly Wasim?
I would like to add to that.
Go
In
ahead.
that, yes, for them just to automatically associate our name to their product without our authorization and consent, that puts them in like serious trouble.
Oh yeah, it's a major legal ground as well. That's the amazing part.
It's in, like, we would have a legal case because we didn't give authorization to use our name. We didn't give authorization, say, yeah, we do support that site, because we don't. I mean, at least we could have a slander suit of some kind. So if you're listening, sir, take our name off of it, and don't ever.
It's down now because I went and caused a real fuss about it.
Good. And if you're listening, don't ever do it again.
Because if it goes up, I'll sue because I can.
Yeah, it in fact, don't even listen. I don't want you to listen to our golden tones.
Our golden tones.
Yeah.
They can go listen to somebody else.
Yeah, you go listen to someone else. You're not one of our Hall of Gooders.
Hall of Gooders?
Yeah, we don't have a Hall of Fame. We have a Hall of Gooders.
A Hall of Gooders. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and we could have a Hall of Wasim.
Oh, those are all Hall of Gooders.
Chris, did you have anyone that you'd like to add to our Weekly Wasim list this week?
Half of Twitter.
Half of Twitter.
Yeah, about anybody who wanted Seth Rollins to get her fired.
Yeah, I would agree. I asked the obvious question though: if his Wang's on the internet, is he now allowed in the Hall of Fame?
Yes.
What's that?
Well, considering I came across a picture of Shawn Michaels in nothing but his birthday suit with the title strategically placed against his junk.
Yeah, but that covers him up.
Yeah, but Shawn.
Yeah.
No, you were exactly right though, Krista. Great point. Because WWE, they used to push that every year you could count on a different lady being in Playboy. That wasn't a big deal. HBK, they really pushed really hard about him being a Playgirl.
And then when it became a family-friendly show, that's when they started coming down on people and no, you can't.
Oh yeah, they did. Sorry, I'm hearing innuendo everywhere. I just had to take a chance.
But in the beginning, like, you had the Attitude Era, and you had, like, the boobs and bikinis and whatever era. It was encouraged.
Hey,
and now, if there are, any kind of racy photos at all, I mean, the shareholders and the guys in the office, their eyeballs start to twitch. So I think it's a bit hypocritical.
Oh, absolutely. At the end of the day, it's still a boys' club. WWE is and always will be a boys' club. So, And
let's be honest. I mean, if Seth Rollins himself didn't post those photos, he can hardly be accountable for the decision of others.
Well,
if whoever she was, fiance, girlfriend, whatever, made the decision to do that, then she's the one that needs to be held accountable for that.
I think it's brilliant. I thought it was such great timing on her part to totally catch him and then do that. I think it's fucking brilliant. No, it's real simple, though. You don't want your dick pics to be out there for everyone to see. Don't take them.
Yeah.
That's it. How fucking easy is that?
But I want to.
Well, that's fine, Craig. I know that you're on Snapchat, and that's what you kids like to do on there.
No, thank you.
It's all about Wang pics.
Is exchange dick pics. But you can't give up. But people cannot possibly get upset when they get leaked out there for everyone to see.
Yeah.
You don't want people to see them. Don't take them. It's that fucking simple. Put some goddamn pants on.
Hey, Krista, you're about to get a snap.
Oh, great. Ease up on the hair this time, okay?
Chris, I was going to say, how is our app developing, just to let our followers know how we're getting on?
Our app's going quite well now. I've come over a major roadblock that we were having. I'm redesigning the home screen. We are now going to have the latest podcast shown on the home screen along with the latest blog post. This should all be up and running on Android by May. In terms of an iPhone version, I'm looking into it.
Okay, so we're saying May for our followers. That's quite impressive.
April or May.
Ooh, April or May. We'll call it May for safety. So, do you think that our app will be better than said WWE app?
In terms of quality, no. In terms of content, yes.
Good.
It'll have more podcasts on there.
Because unfortunately, I don't have an entire goddamn team to develop my app for me.
But you've got a team for content.
Yes, I do.
Guys, let's just take a moment and say if any of our listeners are feeling generous tonight, they can also head over to the Mind of Carnage page on Twitter or the Ringside Ramblers or Just Saying, and you can check out their podcast too, just through our normal link at levelsofwrestling.podbean.com. Be sure to check them all out because they're all working under the same kind of banner as we are now.
Yeah, and if you like what we're doing, if you enjoy dick jokes, yeah, then go check out Mind of Carnage. His latest podcast went up this morning, so.
It's that episode. It's all about the dick.
Yeah, it's been dubbed Mind of Cocknage this week. So.
Both disturbing and comforting. I like it. Obviously tonight, guys, we've got NXT. I want to talk a little NXT, just topics that we haven't really covered. Who do you want to see as the first NXT star to come up from the roster?
Neville.
Same.
Tyler Breeze to go with the Miz.
I'm gonna either say the tag team of Enzo and Big Cass,
That could be good.
or
That could be-
Baron Corbin.
See, people were discussing the ladder match at Mania, which for those of you who don't know, it's being rumoured that they are considering an NXT ladder match of sort. Well, a match, probably a ladder match, for the title at WrestleMania, likely to take place in the pre-show. If this was going to be a six-man tag match, which it would, well, not a six-man tag match, a six-man ladder match, which would make sense, it would be Zayn, Owens, Balor, Itami, Neville, and probably Corbin, because he is their guy. He is WWE's guy. The same way that Reigns is.
You see, the only reason I said Corbin was because the idea we discussed about 15 minutes ago, with the idea of Big Show or Kane being on till SummerSlam. Who else better to beat the big guy than the next dominating big guy?
That makes sense.
I mean,
See, I don't see him as that guy though. To me, he comes off smaller than what he is.
oh, he is. That's the thing. But if they're trying to push him as a big guy, you've got to make him be a big guy.
And he always has that same look, that same boo-boo face. I'm not a Corbin fan. I'm just not.
I just want to see him do that finisher on someone big.
He can't.
Well, I don't know. He did it okay with Bull Dempsey.
Nah, Bull Dempsey stinks.
No, but he's chubby, and he got him off the floor easily.
He's not gonna do that to your dad. So
I wouldn't let him.
People didn't think
I
that.
wouldn't let him.
People didn't think that Cena could AA him. People didn't think that Lesnar could F5 him.
You get your hands off my dad.
I feel I've broken Paul. I'm
You
sorry.
come running again, just start clubbing him. Get your hands off my dad.
Hey, you won't be laughing when it happens, man. Shut up.
Oh, Christ.
But yeah, no, I agree, Chris. There was a lot of people who didn't think Cena could do that. And then he did it at his first kind of big Mania match. All it takes is that special moment, and you can make a guy look strong.
I was going to say, because if you had that ladder match at Mania, you've got Neville's Red Arrow off of the ladder. You've got Owens and Zayn doing their typical random ladder crap. You've got Finn Balor's entrance. You've got Itami doing whatever Itami wants to do. And you've got Corbin throwing people around like ragdolls and hopefully throwing somebody off the ladder.
When are people going to realize that Itami's going to end up like Funaki?
Yeah, he's not going to be a star.
No, he's
chance.
not.
He's
a
Yoshi
mid,
Tatsu.
he's a mid card guy.
No, he's not even that.
Nope.
I
He's
see.
going to be
He's
mid-comedy
Yoshi.
jobber.
Yep, he's Yoshi Tatsu.
Unless he picks up on his English fast, then yeah, I'll agree with that.
Oh no, Vince thinks accents are funny. Oh, he's gonna be a big star. Accents are funny. Yeah,
You know, which is why
it's gonna be terrible.
It worked for Santino.
I'm not gonna lie, I actually, and this is really sad for me to say, I've actually sat down and I've imagined what the crowd on the Raw after Mania would chant at certain things. So I've imagined a We Want NXT chant. I imagine Neville coming out and getting the chant "Lose the Accent."
Lose the accent. Yeah, I could see that.
Or you know, he says something and everyone just says what? Because everyone's like, we don't know. You know, they chant the accent. He says, "Want me to lose the accent?" And they're like, "What?" You know, because Neville is a problem where he needs a mouthpiece. Because I'm from the UK, I struggle to understand Neville.
That George accent.
He has one of the thickest accents you can get.
Biggest. You know what else he needs? He also needs a hat on to cover up those ears. Because I say it every fucking week. That guy by next December will be dressed up like an elf if he's on the main roster.
Hey,
Yep.
it's a good thing he has his hair slicked back, because when it's dry, Afro City.
Oh, yeah, he's going to put a flair with that hair.
To me, he's the perfect guy to stay down in NXT. I mean, why bring him up? He doesn't have anybody he can work with. He's going to be Justin Gabriel.
Oh, don't say that. Poor Gabe.
Yes.
That's what's going to happen, and it sucks. Because there's no one else that can work with him right now.
I have to completely agree with that, and this is why I think it's why I like guys like Owen, Zayn, and Balor. Although I don't like Balor's finisher, but they can work with anyone.
Yep.
And you've seen it where Zayn has put on 5-star matches with Cesaro, Tyler Breeze, Adrian Neville. He's even put on a good match with Tyson Kidd, for Christ's sake. You know, that's saying something in itself. Owens, again, you know, anyone who's watched Ring of Honor, I've gone back, I've seen some of the stuff. He's a good quality guy that you can tell knows what he's doing. He understands what he's doing and why he's doing it. Same with Balor. I mean, even the entrances speak psychology of the ring and the performance.
I would, I'd question as well, if they took Neville up onto the main roster, what do they do with the current guys in NXT? Because Neville works so well with a lot of them. They need to wait for someone else to be able to fill his spot on NXT before he could go anywhere on the roster.
Right, yeah, these NXT guys, you know, it's to the point now. I know that we've been doing this show for quite a while. You know, we always talk about who's next to come up. Nobody needs to.
Well, I'd be interested to see Kalisto get a singles run in NXT.
Only on the provision that he's not a gay barber.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really care about the gimmick as long as we got to see how he handles it, how he
What
uses
bothers
it.
me is if he's a gay barber, you can't put him in the same ring as Darren Young, because
Yeah.
that's got court case all over it.
Yeah, that has. But you know, you have a unless Darren Young agrees to it or wants it, then you know that's fine.
Oh, did you really go there?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he wants it. Mm.
He wants it more than Seth Rollins Wang.
Yeah.
But you know, it comes down to
All right, Macho Man, calm down.
you know, it basically comes down to. I'd actually be interested to see if he can pull that gimmick off, because if he can pull off a gimmick like that, then I'm interested. Because if you can take a bad gimmick and make it good, you're an interesting person.
It's an age-old gimmick. We've seen it a billion times. I mean, he's going to be a combination of Brutus the Barber Beefcake and Adrian Adonis with a little bit of Adrian Street thrown in there. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be that stereotypical gay wrestling character. And it's going to be stupid, and it's going to fail, and it's going to suck. And he's a fantastic athlete, and it sucks that they want to saddle him with that nowhere gimmick.
That's true enough. But
Yeah,
I'd still like to see him have a singles run either way. Like, because
yeah, let him be the next Rey Mysterio. Let him be that guy that he should have been, where he would make a ton of money for not only himself but the company.
Masks.
Yep,
Masks.
Masks make money.
Money. Yeah, yeah.
Here comes the money.
Oh, if only.
I'm waiting for that to happen one day.
No,
when
he's too smart.
when
He got
Triple
out.
H takes charge of the company, and he talks about being better than McMahon, and then you hear Shane's music hit.
It doesn't even need to be the day that Triple H takes over. Just to have it at the Vince retirement ceremony, which will happen on Raw.
Forget that. You know what we need? We need Shane McMahon now.
Oh, Shane McMahon now. Oh, God.
Could you imagine the part that would happen if his music hit and he just had Damien Sandow walk out?
I'm sure the majority of the fans would have no idea who he was supposed to be.
Nope.
Unfortunately.
Although, if they've got the network, Shane McMahon is mentioned in like 8 of those countdown episodes.
I was gonna say, and if you do this at a smart crowd like Chicago, Philadelphia, they'll get it.
Guys, what's your thoughts on crowds like Philly? Someone asked me the other day, what are my thoughts on Philly as a crowd? And I said, they're kind of a smart-heavy town. To which I was then responded with, what do you count as a smart nowadays?
Well, yeah, and this is the thing. I mean, I've seen smart used in two contexts: in a super mark and a smart mark. Two very different things. So, which one would you say they are?
Philly has always been a smart town. All the way back to the 70s, they've always been a very vocal and passionate crowd, not only in wrestling, but in every other sport. So there's that. When ECW was around, I mean, those fans were the smartest fans around. They knew these guys before they would even debut. They were the first like internet fans, and it still carries over today. They are basically us, just more of them.
Yeah, it's like if you had this podcast 1,500 times over,
Yeah.
and then put them all in an arena.
Yep.
But to be fair, I like crowds that are smart because the smart crowd participate.
Yes.
Whether or not it's in the way that WWE wants them to is another story. But at least they participate, which is better than half the crowds that they do over the year.
I'll say I like smart, logical crowds. And that's what I think England does best.
Yeah.
They kind of boo the bad guys still, but they'll still have their own chants and things.
No, they don't.
No, I think they do a lot of the time.
We cheer the heels a lot here.
Yeah.
To be fair.
But they also make Impact tolerable.
Yeah, we do.
But, and also, if you think about it, like with Philly and with the crowds in the UK, they know the role they play.
But that's the thing, a lot of crowds should be focusing on that. A lot of crowds know that they're part of the show too, regardless of whether they, agree to it or not.
Because if you get a good crowd, it makes the show better. You look at WrestleMania and you look at the Raw afterwards, where they didn't bleep out some of those comments that they called Triple H. That was a good crowd. They were responsive.
I was going to say that.
They knew the role that they had in the presentation of the show. Because if you got a lame dick crowd, you got a lame
like Seth Rollins one.
Yeah. You got a limp dick crowd. Yeah.
Sorry, it's getting too hard not to do these now.
Getting hard.
Well, it's usually lame duck, but all things considered, lame dick.
Lame duck.
But
Limp dick.
But to be fair though, getting back to topic, the one I'll never forget is the Raw two years ago after Mania.
Yeah.
Where there was, the crowd was singing and chanting. You had the Mexican wave in the Orton versus Sheamus match because no one cared. You had a thank you Big Show when he interrupted that match. You had even Cena came out afterwards and said, "You are the music tonight," and the crowd loved it.
Yeah.
That to me is a good crowd. They know a good match when they see one. They know good wrestlers when they see them. They know how to make things entertaining and how to have a laugh and have fun. Like, even if they're bored, they won't just sit there and boo. They'll just start doing the Mexican wave because why not?
I watched recently a couple of episodes of Raw on the network. I honestly feel one of the major things that's missing from a crowd now is the amount of signs.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Oh, yeah.
if you're gonna let a crowd have free speech, let them have free speech on a piece of paper as well. Don't take away signs. Let them have what they want.
Yeah, considering one of the things they had in the, WWE magazine that they produced was a list of things to do when you go to a wrestling match, and one of them was bring a sign.
Yep.
Well, now it's bring a sign, get it taken away.
Yeah,
But yeah, you look at those Attitude Era crowds. Everybody had a fucking sign, and every crowd was hot.
yeah.
Which is the complete opposite of nowadays.
I would love
And
though.
nobody's really invested.
Yeah,
Yeah,
even back then though, I didn't feel like if you look at it, people weren't invested. They were just there to have a good time,
Yeah.
which
Yeah,
is a good thing.
and something was always happening, and yeah, the matches were really quick, but you always knew that the matches were going to be quick. That everything was going to come at you, everything was gonna hit you real fast. There was always going to be some kind of run in, or you knew Austin was coming. It didn't matter. Something was always happening.
Well, and that's the thing is, it's the pacing. Like, if the matches have a time limit, it keeps the crowd interested because you don't want to miss anything because it's going to be so short. When you're watching them, they go overtime and they've been wrestling for 20 friggin' minutes and nothing's really happening. You stop engaging.
You got to have You got to have the right guys in that match. Exactly.
If I'm getting more enjoyment out of my Twitter feed than I am getting from the match on Raw, that should tell whoever's doing creative that they got to tweak something. It's like, yeah, Twitter's blowing up and that's great, but we want them focusing on what they're watching.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that's something they took away from this week, where the viewership dropped, and there are more people discussing stuff on Twitter than there are watching the damn show.
Yeah, and considering how much money good seats at a taping costs, you'd think they put a lot more effort into it.
It makes me question. Like, obviously, I'm talking about going to Mania 32.
Yeah.
I know that I'm going to need to pay good money to get good seats, but I want to know that the product I'm going to see is going to be worth the money.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to start selling. You're gonna start selling some dick pics to
Because
come up with the cash for that.
For the really, really good seats, you're looking easy. Like if you take their VIP package, you're looking $2,000 easy. And
Is it bad that I'm okay with that?
Same.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that too, but it's got to be worth the money. If I'm forking out
I'm thinking first 4 rows.
for the first 4 rows, if I'm forking out $2,000-3,000 for that section,
Yeah, good show.
$3,000 that I'm gonna fork out for the plane ticket, plus how many hundreds of dollars I'm forking out for the hotel room, I want to make sure that I'm going and I'm going to enjoy the product. If I'm sitting there and I'm seeing the same shit that I see every week, I'm less inclined to want to spend that money. Right?
I'm more inclined to champ we want refunds.
Do you know what will bother me more is if I go to Mania and I have to sit through a fucking Flow Rider performance.
Yeah.
I will walk out.
Bank on it.
I will walk out if that happens.
Bank on it. You're either going to be getting Kid Rock, Flow Rider, or Limp Bizkit.
I'm fine with Kid Rock and Limp Bizkit. That's okay.
Kid Rock as well.
I don't have a problem with bands performing live to perform entrances. Like the one idea I've always had is Metallica, Minus Human, which is done with the symphony, is a song that would make a good entrance, and it'd be cool to hear live.
Yeah.
Except Metallica are dinosaurs now.
Yeah, now they are.
Yeah, they can't do that because their bass player is Roman Reigns. So.
Basically.
Yeah, he is.
But it's one of those things where I wouldn't mind listening to that live, but sitting there and just focusing on it for 5 minutes when it's completely irrelevant, no. Just no.
Yeah, that's taking away from what could be a match.
Yeah.
When I interviewed Mr. Jester, one of the questions I asked was, does live music make a difference to a performance? And he said if you have music at a halftime performance, you need to make sure that they're going to be a hot enough band to keep the crowd ready to go back into the performance. You can't just have them be a mediocre band, and then expect the first match after the break to be phenomenal to get the crowd going again. That's not how it works.
Well, I'll always remember the first time Rock and Cena went out and they had Machine Gun Kelly and Flo Rida perform, and the crowd died. And I was sat there thinking, why have you put this here when you're trying to get the crowd hyped up from Punk Jericho, and instead you've put on artists that they're not going to give a damn about.
Yeah.
The one that I did like and do remember, as much as people shit on Limp Bizkit, watching Undertaker go out on the motorbike to live
awesome.
Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Even stuff like when Motorhead had performed The Game and stuff for Triple H, I'm into that. I'll take that.
Yeah, both times Motorhead was there. Awesome.
Yeah.
What else was good live? Even do you know, even sometimes Lillian Garcia singing the American National Anthem. Not the worst they could have.
I'll give them that. It's the American National Anthem. It's just like tradition for them to open up with it. I can understand that.
Yeah.
I can get behind it. I'm not even American, and I'll get behind it.
I'll get shunned for this completely, but I know more words of the American National Anthem than I do of God Save the Queen.
Well,
God
Save the Queen is pretty self.
God save the something Queen. God save the Queen. Isn't that just the entire fucking thing? That's literally all you do when you sing God Save the Queen.
Hold on. Your guys' national anthem is a Sex Pistols song? That is awesome.
I wish it was.
Mate,
In fact, we just need to have Wade Barrett's intro.
Do you want to know what I wish our American theme song was? I wish it was the Italian Job, Self-Preservation. Do you know...
Self-Preservation Society.
That should totally be our national anthem.
Well, in their defense, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's actually 6 verses to God Save the Queen.
Oh,
when I was in school, the only verse we sang was the first one. God save our gracious Queen, long live our noble Queen, God save the Queen. Send her victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us, God save the Queen.
You sang more than me, so, you know, I don't really... one thing you'll find is people in the UK are not that patriotic and don't care about national anthems or any of that crap. Like, a lot of people just don't bother. I mean, it's like Old Man Eye that everyone sings New Year's. You'd be surprised how many people don't know the words.
They just sing the chorus.
No, we don't even sing that anymore.
No. We literally just stand there holding hands crossed hands, and that's pretty much it. Like, you just sort of mumble. But that's legitimately... Nobody here cares. It's nice to see the Americans take pride in their national anthem.
We do too.
Yeah, but you're Canadians.
And what's that supposed to be?
It's Canada. Ugh.
Be surprised on how many people butcher our national anthem.
Be surprised on how... Fair enough.
Guys, thoughts on Jason Alberts being the NXT commentator? How do we feel about him?
I don't have a problem.
I don't mind him at all, actually. Him and William Regal are great.
I was going to say, I'm happy that he stepped aside from the ring work, which he knew he wasn't that good at anymore. And he said, you know, I'm happy to do something else that helps out and helps the product. That, to me, is what more people need to do.
Yeah.
Big Show and Kane need to be doing that.
Yeah. And he's brilliant as a commentator.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
He's unoffensive. He's fine.
Well, what about Corey Graves then, seeing as he's started up that role?
I like him.
I'm glad Graves has something to do since his injury.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like...
I'm glad that they gave him the opportunity to do it, and they didn't just say, gee, that's too bad, son.
Yeah,
Wish you all the best in your future endeavors. They actually given him a role to do.
Yeah, I mean, like they did with Evan Bourne, where they waited for him to get better until he could go out and make a living for himself again, and then said, well, you know, see ya.
Yeah.
I kind of wish they put Graves on as a seamstress, if I'm honest.
I kind of wish they put Graves on as either a manager for a stable.
How about a fake CM Punk like they did the fake Diesel?
Ooh, that would be really good.
That would have worked in Chicago, to be 100% honest. I would be up for that.
Yeah. I think he would have been really good as a manager or even a mouthpiece.
Yeah, a manager slash mouthpiece, because we don't have enough of those anymore. We literally have Paul Heyman, and that's it.
Oh god, you want to talk about managers and mouthpieces? Where the hell is Mark Henry at?
Forget
That-
Mark
They
Henry.
are dying a death, damn it.
Forget
Get to
Mark
Mark Henry.
Henry. Where's that copter?
And I think they do need more of this because I mean, you look at the golden, not the golden era, but the '80s, and you had Freddie Blassie, you had Bobby Heenan, you had Jimmy Hart.
Corey Dangerously.
Yep, you had Captain Lou.
Oh, Captain Lou. Wow.
You know, you had all these great mouthpieces. I mean, remember when Freddie Blassie was, the mouthpiece for the Iron Sheik, and he was Ayatollah Blassie. He was absolutely hysterical. Or you had Bobby Heenan in that. They really brought something to the product. They brought something to the spectacle. Like, you just didn't know what was coming out of their mouths next. Now all we have is Paul Heyman, and to an extent Zeb Coulter. It's the only two we really have.
See, that's one of the reasons I really like Enzo going to the ring with Big Cass and NXT.
Yeah.
Like, if he's not going to wrestle, let him be that mouthpiece.
Yes,
Cass can't talk.
Oh, he's amazing at talking. Like, some of his promo work is incredible.
He's not an amazing wrestler, but yeah, his mouthpiece stuff and promos. Yeah.
He's certainly...
Enzo's got a great mouthpiece. Big Cass isn't so much.
Much like Seth Rollins cock, he is not SAWFT soft. He is legit. He is one of the biggest guys in the room when he talks.
Yeah.
And I would love to see him on the main roster doing that stuff. Even if he spent a few weeks bigging up NXT and going there and just saying, this is what we do, this is how we do things, buy the network and we'll show you.
I have to admit, I legitimately do like the concept of having him on Raw. I think it would make it more tolerable to watch.
Could you imagine that soft chant the minute they walk out, or the bada boom, baddest guys in the room? It's like the New Age Outlaws all over again.
Yeah, it literally
but with charisma.
And I think they need to start teaching those guys how to do that again. I mean, get Road Dogg in there and teach him how to, run the spiel.
You can't teach charisma. It's one thing you can't.
No, but you can certainly teach pacing.
Yeah.
It's worth pointing out.
And not to, get stuck.
It's worth pointing out, I've just seen a picture from the NXT arena.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know how to pronounce her name, the diva that had, or the woman, sorry, that had her nude released as well, is sat almost in the front row.
Oh god.
Like, she's in the
Are they gonna try and capitalize on that?
I don't know, she's almost right behind Triple H. I'm just happy JoJo's there, to be fair. Yeah.
Yeah, but we know why you want that, Chris.
Well.
Said that yeah. Oh god. I'm not even embarrassed.
Alright, we still have a couple more questions, though.
Oh, let's go for it then.
Oh, yeah, one of them is from, again, Mind of Carnage. She wants to know, do we finally get to see the GTS hit tonight?
Yes.
I say yes.
No.
They've built it up long enough. You do it at a big show. I say it gets hit tonight.
I think he shouldn't do the GTS, but he should do something along the same lines.
He should definitely tease it at minimum.
Oh, it'll get teased, and it's going to connect.
On who, though?
Oh, he has a match with...
it is with Breeze.
Yeah.
But will it connect with Breeze?
Yeah. Yeah, Tyler Breeze is junk at this point. They had their opportunity with him, and they missed.
I can't stand the little shit, so yeah.
Yeah, he should have already been called up and been with The Miz at this point.
Yeah, I feel like that's a missed opportunity already.
I feel that's going to happen when Sandow splits with him.
Which could be... Does it feel like it's too late, though?
No, not at all. If they bring him up... I think
To
if they bring him up at the same time, they'll be okay.
To me, it feels too late now. Unless they have... Actually, no, it does feel too late, because to me, as soon as he fired Sandow, we should have had Breeze. We shouldn't have had... you're now my personal assistant, because now it just feels like, well, you're dragging this out.
Well, maybe that's what happens if Breeze loses tonight. After Fastlane, that's where Breeze comes in.
Well, I don't see anybody getting bumped up until after Mania anyway. So
Same.
yeah.
Krista, do we see the GTS tonight?
No.
And
Look
what
at
do
that. You gave that yawn like you went to sleep. That was a good one. I like that.
what will they call it? I don't think they'll call it GTS.
It's gonna be WTS. Went to sleep.
Yeah. Well, and I think if they called it the GTS, that Punk fans would get.
I think that they're going to have to call it something really Asian.
Well, but that's what its name was over there, though, was the Go to Sleep. So I mean, Punk stole it.
Well, yeah, but it's been just so identified with Punk now that the Smarks and the Marks will just freak right out. And I mean, they can rename it anyway. I mean, look at the Camel Clutch. It's now the Accolade, but it's still the friggin' Camel Clutch.
Yeah, I still call it the Camel Clutch because I'm old. So.
You know, the thing with the DDT, I mean, Jake Roberts was identified with the DDT for so long, but now quite a few guys have had the DDT as a finisher.
And it's not even a finisher anymore.
It's a, well,
unless you need to be Ambrose.
You gotta have the right guy doing it.
Ooh, okay, that was interesting.
All right, we got one last question from my side over here.
Go for it.
Princess Abigail wants to know, can Bray Wyatt overthrow Undertaker?
Yes.
I could overthrow Undertaker at this point.
I'd like to very quickly point something out while this is relevant.
Go for it.
I'm watching the NXT TakeOver pre-show at the moment. There's a lot of flickering in the background and stuff with, like, you know how they did Solomon Crow stuff and everything flickered?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of that happening in the background of all of the matches that they're showing. So, like, at the moment, they've got the picture of the 4 Divas up, and in the background, it's flickering.
Interesting. As far as Undertaker Wyatt goes, yes, Wyatt can overthrow Undertaker.
Absolutely.
Because it's going to be a 1-year build, Sting Taker. If they're doing it this, like, honest to God, they're already talking about it still, which is really sad. I know Matt Beaver is going to hate me for this. I don't care about a match. Let a face-to-face happen.
People forget that, people 100% forget that the streak is over. If Taker loses now, there is not much pressure on Wyatt anymore. I think the main concern with having a younger guy win was the pressure of, the streak. He ended the streak and his career failed. With that no longer being the case, I feel like, Bray Wyatt's in a position where it's a lot easier for him to win a match.
So then why do it, though?
What do you mean, why have Wyatt beat him?
Yeah, well, why even have the match at Mania? Why don't you have it some other time?
Because
it's a big match.
Yeah, it's still Taker. Taker's still the big. Even though the streak is over, Taker is still a big deal.
Yeah.
I personally hate it. I hate the idea of him having another match. I don't care who it's against.
I agree. I don't like the idea of another Taker match. I think, though, in order to do this, what they're going to do is have Bray Wyatt beat Undertaker, and then Undertaker claim the next night he's retiring.
And
I hate it.
Yeah, and then Sting comes out. It's WWE written all over it.
Then if that's the case, if we could do that, then I have Undertaker win.
You would have Undertaker win. I would have him lose.
I'd have Undertaker lose and say that he thought that last year was a one-off. He thought it was a fluke.
So what's he gonna do? Start another undefeated streak at Mania? I mean,
yeah.
I think
get out of here.
I think his final match he will win against Sting, and that will be his final match ever, and that will be the Hall of Fame.
And I wouldn't actually, and I know this is a cop-out, but I wouldn't even mind if they did, like, a build for the Taker-Sting match through vignettes.
They will, for an entire year. They'll do that for an entire year.
Yeah, because I don't want to see either of those men wrestle.
Yeah, same here. I don't want to see it.
I want to see them in the ring talking. I don't want to see them have a match at all.
I wouldn't mind seeing them in the ring and they shake hands. Or they both say, it's time to go, and they just kind of walk off in the sunset together.
Oh, it's okay, Disney.
I
hurts.
want to see them skip up the ramp together. I like it.
No, fuck no.
Yes.
Let's see them take group dick pics with Seth Rollins and have it over with.
But you can have them go on a motorbike. That'd be all right.
I'm telling you, Dead Man Taker is the one that Wyatt wants. So over the next month, past Fastlane, you have him come out as the American Badass. It's all I'm asking for.
Yeah, that wouldn't be too bad of a thing, actually.
He looks old and withered. Bray Wyatt's called him out, and he's like, no, enough, I'm done, blah, blah, blah. Bray Wyatt calls him out. He looks like a 60-year-old man on a motorbike, which is the case, Paul, you're right.
No, he looks like Doc Brown from Back to the Future. So if that's the case, you have him come down in a fucking DeLorean.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
Yeah.
I would like that. But needless to say,
go back to the future.
Needless to say, you have Undertaker. Needless to say, you have Undertaker come out on the bike as the American Badass, and Bray Wyatt demands that he gets the Dead Man at Mania. The Dead Man, not this withered old shit. And that's what's going to happen.
Then he better not dye his beard.
Oh, but he will. He'll dye his beard.
I love all of our ideas for this. I really think all that could work, but I know that the match will stink.
Yeah, the match will suck ass, but the promo build, fans at Mania won't give a shit. Those watching Mania from home will.
I was going to say, it won't necessarily be a bad match, but the crowd will make it interesting.
Oh, it's going to be a bad match. Taker can't work.
Taker can't work with anyone at this point. Let alone.
Taker can't work, but Taker can't work concussed.
Bing.
The only issue with last year was the concussion.
Oh, no, he was terrible even before he got his head knocked around. It wasn't good from the start.
His head was knocked around pretty early on.
Yeah, it wasn't good from the start.
What really interests me is where they go from here with Wyatt. If Taker's match doesn't happen with Wyatt, who's he calling out?
Boogeyman.
I hate you. Who's he calling out?
Kane.
Ugh, I hate you too.
Well, it's either Kane or Boogeyman at this point. Right?
Yeah, good.
Unless I throw an absolute spellball, it's like, well, guys, Sting Triple H isn't going to happen, so we may as well put him with Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
But no, that won't happen. That absolutely will not happen.
No.
Like,
Papa Shango. It's Papa Shango. We solved the mystery.
It's Finn Balor.
Like Zoinks, Stu, we solved the mystery.
Could you imagine halfway through a Bray Wyatt promo, the black goo starts running down his face? That would be an intense promo.
I figured out who it is. I've absolutely figured it out.
It's Shane.
It's Gangrel.
Oh, come on, he's telling him to come home. It's Shane.
You know, I just had something pop in my mind, and wouldn't this be a neat vignette? Is to have Wyatt doing his whole spiel in the barn, and in the background, you know, you get that flashlight, and it's the Dead Man.
Do you know what? I had that thought last week, and I thought it might be cheesy or it could be perfect.
If it's done just right, it could be epic.
Yeah,
But that's the thing, it's a fine line between epic and cheese.
It would be interesting if you saw Bray Wyatt sat in a rocking chair looking at the camera. You don't necessarily see the Dead Man, you hear the footsteps first.
Oh, yeah.
And then
you hear the gong.
I love this.
Forget the gong, you just see him walk through the smoke, and then the gong hits once you can see him.
I love the idea as well that Bray Wyatt just has a copy of, like, an old leather coat that he sets on fire, like, as symbolism, puts it on like a scarecrow and burns it. Like, I just think it would be absolutely incredible. The promos for this could be amazing, depending on how far they'll take it. Let Wyatt cut a promo in a cemetery. It's what they used to do with old Taker promos.
Yep.
Have him retrace Taker's steps.
And if they don't want to do it in the dark, they can always just shoot night for day, or day for night.
Yep. God, could you imagine though the Undertaker retaliation with this? Like, we're all saying like what Wyatt could do, what's Wyatt gonna do, what's Taker gonna do, other than kind of go back to the home. But like, I kind of question.
He's gonna be Terry Funk at this point, which is fine. But you know what? I would like to see him on TV.
As long as he's not cutting a promo about 21 sharks and taking them to the bottom of the sea and drowning them, I'm okay with that.
I want that promo.
Really?
That promo's gonna happen now.
That promo was bad because he counted 21 guys and it's not been 21.
At least it's better than the math they've done in TNA.
What do you mean?
Who was it that couldn't count?
What? Sorry?
This was years ago that someone cut a promo about percentage and odds and chances and everything, and it was like, what the F?
That sounds like a good old Jeff Hardy promo.
Scott Steiner.
Yes, Steiner, that was the one.
But then he turned it into a gimmick, and it was funny.
Yeah, math with Steiner, you can find that video on YouTube.
I'll need to double check that for the promos. Man, I tell you, guys, make sure if you've tuned in tonight that you go and watch yourself some NXT Rival and make sure that basically what we've said is correct. You know what it's going to be, but just do it. And when you look back on this in a week from now, before the next lowdown, you can go, shit, these guys were 186 correct. My English is terrible.
186 correct.
I know, my English is terrible. I'm worse than a Roman Reigns promo tonight.
No, it's because you're speaking Scottish.
It wasn't 186 correct.
Sorry, what was that, Paul?
That's because you're speaking Scottish, not English.
That's okay, I don't speak Scottish really either. And when I sing, I sound Canadian, apparently.
Yeah,
So
well.
whatever that sounds like.
Sounds like Paul.
Sounds like me.
Sounds like
Like me? Yeah, like
a
you.
poor rip-off of
Jeez.
DMS.
You sound like Paul doing Dusty doing Aaron. It's really awkward.
It is pretty awkward. And
If you
speaking
will.
of Dusty, though, we're going to be seeing him on Monday, so he's going to be on there talking about hard times, baby. And he's not going to be talking about Seth Rollins. I guarantee you that.
You're right. He's probably not, Paul. Thank
That's
you.
flaccid times. Flaccid times.
This week the impression's kind of lackluster there, Paul.
God, I thought it was good.
Hey, Paul, give me
If
Paul,
you
give
will.
me an SAWFT soft promo in the Dusty voice.
Seth Rollins is S. How do I spell it? SAWFT?
Oh
Yeah.
God, yes.
Yes, that's not ruined.
Now that, yes, I saw those Seth Rollins pictures, and he is anything but hard times, baby. He is SAWFT, if you will. Soft.
S-W-A-F-T.
I love the little pause then. You got to the end, you were like, wait, what does that spell?
I don't remember.
I think it spells soft. I don't know.
I spelled soft and then had dramatic pause and then said soft.
Music to my ears.
S-W-A-F-T.
I'm questioning it. I'm questioning it.
S-A-F-T.
It's saft. Things are saft.
That's how you make a dream. Spell it. He had hard
It's
times.
much better than-
He had hard times learning how to read. You don't
I did consider coming on this week and doing my Adrian Neville, just because everything sounds like you come from Tit North and everything's really difficult to see. It's really fucking horrible living down in NXT and Sami Zayn's shadow. It's so difficult. It gets to a point where I'm like, I hate listening to him to try and get it.
You sound like an extra from the Lord of the Rings.
Not even.
He's got one ring to rule them all, one ring to bind them, and in the darkness find them. No, we should never. Lord of the Rings set in Newcastle would make me cut my wrist.
Lord of the Rings set in Newcastle.
Mate, we've got one dream, and that's to find the perfect pint of lager before the end of the night. Anyway. Guys, we have been there at the Levels of Wrestling. You've been listening to Lowdown. If you want to get in touch, please head over to @Leveler LOW on Twitter. And if you want to keep in touch with all of our shows, that'll be ourselves, The Mind of Carnage, Ringside Ramblers, and of course the girls at Just Saying. Go over and check out levelsofwrestling.podbean.com.
You can also go and check out our Levels of Wrestling podcast, which now has a copy of the script for Lord of the Rings in Newcastle.
Next week, you're going to be hearing extra films in different accents. You know where to come. And guys, just bear in mind, keep an eye out for those Seth Rollins dick pics.
And
Good
stay
night.
soft.